and it's irresponsible.
Senator Kamala Harris of California, thank you for joining us. I know it's been a late night, Senator. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you all.
Appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you.
We also want to bring into the conversation another member of our extended family, Republican political veteran Steve Schmidt, veteran of both many GOP campaigns and a GOP White House or two. Steve, sum up what, in addition to what we're now told is the third longest State of the Union address ever, what was it we witnessed tonight from Donald Trump? Everything all together, the backdrop, what we know to be the subplot, and his choice of words.
Well, this convocation that we saw tonight, Brian, the coming together of the three co-equal branches of government, there's a veneer of normalcy to it all. And the president went in there as presidents do and addresses the nation. But left unsaid was that this president comes in, the most unpopular president this early in his tenure in the history of polling, somebody who has spent the last year leading a faction in this country, dividing the country, somebody who is besieged by criminal investigation, talking about the importance of our law enforcement organizations and institutions, while at the same time the Republican majority working with the White House is engaged in a full-on assault trying to discredit the FBI, the Justice Department, doing everything they conceivably can to insulate the president from these investigations. We heard talk about expanding our nuclear weapons arsenal. There is not one serious student of American defense policy that thinks that this should be the chief goal of strengthening America's military. Across the depth and breadth of this, you saw a divisive speech, the wedge issue of immigration, the scare tactics of MS-13. There was no talk in the speech about the challenges the country faces over the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Where are we going as a country? So this divisive president came in tonight at probably the most divided this country has been in the last 50 years, since that year of 1968. He did nothing to appeal to the better angels of our nature as a country in this speech, and more than anything, it was a speech delivered almost from an alternate reality, a fifth dimension, that presumes that nothing we heard from this president over the last year, nothing that we've seen actually in fact happened. And of course it did. And the American people know it. And so I think that this is a speech that will not be long remembered. His words will float up like smoke from a fire and dissipate. In 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours from now, we'll see the typical recklessness, the looseness, the tweet out of left field that will extinguish this moment of supposed normalcy from our minds, I suspect, pretty quickly.
Steve Schmidt, I wanted to ask you about some of the first half of the speech, which was almost entirely about the economy and jobs. The president talked up the number of jobs that have been created during his 14 months in office. And it's true, you know, more than 2 million jobs have been created. It's the slowest pace of job growth in the last 7 years. He talked about economic growth as if it is turbocharged, as if we were having a great new period of renewal in terms of economic growth. Economic growth this past year was 2.3%, which is a little bit lower than what most economists expected it to be. It's certainly lower than the 3, 4, even more that he promised as a candidate and even as president. Is there risk for the Republicans broadly, not just the president, trying to sell the country on an economic